Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video and gameplay. Today I'm bringing you a little bit different of a video. It's a concept that I've been coming up with recently and sort of a idea that I want to incorporate into my YouTube channel and specifically with Legends of Runeterra. This is going to be kind of a random region generator and deck builder. So what I'm going to do here is I've got all of the regions from Legends of Runeterra on this wheel. I'm going to spin it twice and it's going to give me two regions or possibly the same region, and I'm going to have to build a deck around those two regions. Then I'm going to make another wheel with all of the champions from those two regions and spin it twice again and get two different champions or possibly once again the same champion twice, and then I'm going to be forced to use those two champions in that region as well. So the basis behind this and the reason I want to do this is because this forces me to come up with new deck concepts and use cards in ways they haven't been used before, potentially creating a new deck that could work competitively that a lot of people aren't thinking about. Yeah, so that's kind of like the main gist of this, and it forces me to think a little bit deeper about the cards I want to include and different ways of using them. Could be very interesting. So with that said, I'm going to spin the wheel for the two regions here, and we're going to start making decks. So here we go. Alright, so the first region looks like it's going to be Shadow Isles. Okay. I'm not going to remove Shadow Isles from the list here, and we're going to spin it again. And we are going to land on Piltover and Zon. Alright, so this is pretty cool here. Piltover and Zon and Shadow Isle. So let's now create the deck real quick. Let's spin this guy twice here. And the first one we're going to land on is our favorite unit of all time, Teemo. And let's look at who we're going to get for this second one. We end up getting Maokai. This wasn't really the one that I wanted to see here. Alright, Teemo and Maokai. Alright, so who's ready for a Teemo and Maokai deck? Let's clip this, and we're going to be in Legends of Runeterra creating a Teemo Maokai deck. Alright everybody, we're back into the deck builder here. I've gone through and kind of made a deck with Teemo and Maokai. Don't really have a good name for it yet, so I don't know, we'll think of something like Don't Eat the Mushrooms. I don't know. Anyway, not feeling super witty today with the titles. So what we're kind of focused on here is milling enough with Maokai that we can activate his ability, get him to level up, and then clear out the enemy's deck, and then finish it up with either Overdraw or Puff Caps. So how we're going to do that is by including basically all of the toss options that we have available to Maokai, so Thorny Toad, and we're also running all of the Dead Bloom Wanderers. We are not running Sap Magic. Sap Magic is kind of a bad card. It may have more use if you have units that actually have enough health that you'd be able to heal your units. My units are pretty squishy though, and so they're pretty much just going to die every time they block into somebody, so I don't really have a lot of use for that. And we'll use it if we have the chance, if we draw multiple Maokais, because it will toss the 3 cards and then level him up faster. So yeah, so we're including the Dead Bloom Wanderer, we're including also Thorny Toad, and as our toss options, and then we're also running a full set of Used Cask Salesmen who are creating two of these Caustic Casks, which go into the dead units that will also help level up Maokai. So because we aren't running Nautilus and the deep options in this deck, we have to fabricate more ways to toss our cards, and so we've got a full set of Fading Memories. We're also running 2 Chroniclers of Ruin who are just going to get these kind of play abilities activated again, and also the, Last Breath ability for the Thorny Toad. So overall, it's not the most efficient way to level up Maokai, but given my kind of options, this is kind of where we're at. Alright, and we're also going to be running a full set of the new card, Stalking Shadows. In case you aren't aware what this card does, you pick a follower from the top 4 cards in your deck. then you make a copy, an ephemeral copy of it. You draw that one, then you make an ephemeral copy of it. So because we have all of these kind of cards, these followers are all giving us sort of play abilities or toss abilities. We really can't go wrong with which unit we choose. And in many cases, we can choose a unit that will, I guess, benefit us in the particular situation that we're in. So these clump of wumps are producing mushroom clouds, and the chump of wumps are producing mushroom clouds. And then, of course, the last breath ability with the ephemeral unit that you're creating. Yeah, the Dead Bloom Wanderer as well will toss cards and give us temporary life steal before it dies. And the Veteran Investigator is making people draw cards. So yeah, really what we're doing is just getting as many of these play effects as we can with the Chronicler of Ruin and with Fading Memories, leveling up Maokai, killing our units, and then, yeah, just trying to survive till late game in order to do that. And so really, the spells that we're running in this deck, the 5-cost spells from Shadow Isles, we're running 3 Grasp of the Undying and 2 Withering Well, just more life steal, more sustain. We got to get to late game. Works really well with the Dead Bloom Wanderer with life steal as well, and Thorny Toad, which is healing our Nexus. So yeah, we're just trying to survive. We're trying to get to late game, and then as soon as Maokai levels up, we've got our Veteran Investigators, we got Teemo, we got Mushrooms. We put them in the deck, force our opponent to draw a whole bunch of cards. Either we're going to run him out of cards, or he's going to just kill himself with mushrooms. That's the plan. Overall, it's been pretty fun making this deck. The concept is kind of fun. Definitely not used very often outside of kind of meme status, but I've had really good success with this, at least in kind of my my initial kind of plays with it, just trying to refine it and get the correct cards in the deck. So we're gonna see if we can get a decent win out of this against someone else. Anyway, yeah. Oh, another notable card you might think is missing from this deck is the Puffcap Peddler. He is normally in Teemo decks. You play like spells and you get more Puffcaps into the deck. The reason why I'm not running the Puffcap Peddler in this deck in this particular version is because the Puffcap Peddler does well when you have a lot of spells. We are generating quite a few mushrooms, but other than that, we don't have a lot of spells. We've only got 14. And a lot of that has to do with stocking shadows. We want to be able to reliably pull a follower from the top 4 cards of our deck. And then also because we're using Teemo more as a late game kind of finishing champion in this style of deck, where we want to get more Puffcaps in the deck after we mill it, the Puffcap Peddler really becomes redundant. We don't need a whole bunch of Puffcaps into the deck before leveling up Maokai and Teemo, so that's why he's not included, and that's kind of my reasoning behind it. There's just more efficient cards to use. This is by no means the best Maokai Teemo deck. I'm not claiming that, but it is definitely a super fun way and super refreshing way to play this deck, and everybody's probably wondering, like, why are you doing this? Why, like, you just had a new region come out. Why aren't you using cards from that region? Well, because I was forced to, because the wheel forced me to. I've got no will of my own. Alright, anyway, if you enjoyed this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Alright, everybody, so we're going against a Lee Sin Eric deck. This is the first time I've seen this, so we're going to see how it goes. So far with this deck that I've created, I'm 3-0, so let's try and make it 4-0. It really hasn't been going against high caliber decks though, or players for that matter. This opening hand is pretty bad. I don't want Veteran Investigator this early, and Chump Wump isn't very good at this early either. Maokai's fine. He's basically our main win condition in this deck, so we're going to keep Maokai. And we end up getting Teemo too on our first hand, so that's nice. And he's probably going to attack with this Gift Giver here into Teemo. I'm not going to block, so we're just going to pass the round and finish up here. So I don't draw another card here, so we're just going to open attack with Teemo, get some early Nexus damage, and plant some mushrooms into his deck. Alright, so this is fine how this is going. Not too bad here. He's going to have a lot of support units in this deck more than likely, and he's going to try to buff up his units. Yeah, like this River Shaper. We're going to play our Use Cask Salesman here. He's basically our only play. This is fine because it kind of dissuades him from attacking with these 2 units, and is going to start leveling up Maokai. Okay, so like I said, dissuaded him from attacking, and we are going to get a a few of deaths so that Maokai levels up. Alright, so we're just going to open attack here. I don't really want to play Maokai first. There's not really a point. I'm going to try to get some things out of him first before I put down my win condition. Okay, he blocks into the Cask Salesman here, and he is going to buff it with Sunblessed Vigor, his River Shaper. And we've got Glimpse Beyond. We're going to kill off our unit so that he doesn't get card draw and draw spells with his River Shaper. Prevent him as much of that as possible. And we're going to make contact with Teemo here, so now he only needs one more hit in order to level up. Because we're milling out our opponent with Maokai, it's not super important that Teemo is even down early. He's more of a late game champion in this deck, funnily enough. So but like any sort of chip damage we can get early through the mushrooms and Teemo is fine, and everything's good. So he plays a couple more units here. His Mentor of the Stone's another gift giver, so he's really banking in on these stones here. That's really what you're going to be looking for with Lee Sin decks, especially paired with Targon. Kind of cheap, inexpensive spells to level up Lee Sin. Alright, so he's going to open attack here, it looks like. Let's see if he goes. He's taking a little bit to decide what he wants to do. Let's see if he goes.
Be brave.
Alright, even Teemo was listening. Okay, so we don't really have much to do here. We're just going to block this River Shaper, prevent 4 damage. That seems like a little bit too much to want to take. This is going to heal our Nexus as well because he's killing off our Thorny Toad here. And once again, we're just getting kind of these deaths and tosses to level up Maokai. Okay, now we're going to play Maokai. And every card that we play from now on, each round is going to give us our sapling. That's really the main game here. We just want to level up Maokai as fast as possible. I know we're running him in a Teemo deck, so it's not quite as efficient as if he were with Nautilus, but that's not really the challenge here, is it? Alright, so he uses his gems on his River Shaper. He just is giving it more attack. And yeah, kind of an interesting deck concept. I don't know that it's necessarily the River Shaper you want to include and start buffing a whole bunch. Just because he can't really make direct contact with the Nexus so long as I have units to block. Alright, so we're just going to open attack with Teemo. I could have played a Veteran Investigator. The problem with that is that he will draw a card as well, and he's got full mana. So I don't really want to give him more cards to play around with. And I got kind of unlucky. I drew 3 Veteran Investigators, and I got all 3 of my Maokais as well. What are the chances of that? I don't really have very many good card options here. So we're kind of forced to play the Veteran Investigator just to fill up our board a little bit and prevent some damage if he open attacks next round, which he probably will do because he's done it every single round. And we got Stalking Shadows from our draw from our Veteran Investigator, so we're probably going to use that here and hopefully get something. Yeah, okay, got 1 card. Jeez Louise, out of 4. This is ridiculous. My draws have been awful. Alright, so I do have an option to play the Chronicler of Ruin this round. I'm probably not going to do it though. And I'm not going to play another Veteran Investigator just to prevent as much card draw for him as possible. I mean, he's already getting a little bit off of his River Shaper, so I don't really need to give him more opportunities. And yeah, we're just going to end the round here. Alright, we got Chump Wump here. So at least we got a couple more units we can use. He plays Tark here. Tark's got to be close to leveling up as well as Lee Sin, so I think they both need to 7 times. I think both of them. Tark, you can support units as well though, spells and units. So anyway, I'm forced to play the Chronicle of Ruin here. I'm going to use the ephemeral copy of it just to use as a blocker this round, and this is going to produce a sapling as well, just to give me another blocker. He's got a full board here, so I need to be able to block all of his units, and they will deal quite a bit of damage between the support buffs that he's going to be getting here and just the normal attack stats they have at the moment. So I have to fill up my board. And he uses Blessing of Targon on Tarek here, so he's probably going to buff up Lee Sin. Possibly somebody else. Let's see if he spreads out a little bit with his units. So he's got support units and he's got some pretty powerful units already.
Heed the path.
Alright, so he's going to attack here. Thought about taking Teemo. I'm actually kind of glad he didn't, just because I have multiple Maokais in my hand. He's going to kill Maokai here, and I mean, this forces him also to use these units afterwards, right? And so, like, the most efficient way is to kill Maokai first, so I can't potentially level up with him if I put more units to block into his units and they die. So it's possible there's like potential for him to level up, but he can't really do that because he's forced to support his Lee Sin in order to kill Maokai. Alright, so now we're going to play a Veteran Investigator. And I'm going to force him because he's at 9 cards right now. He's at 10 now, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so he's forced to play a card here, this part of the round, and force him to use a mana. Otherwise, he's going to waste a card. So that was very important to play the Veteran Investigator at that moment. And yeah, he has to use the gem or he will destroy his card this round. Alright, so we're just going to start out by playing Maokai here. Maokai's on the board, and he uses another gem on his River Shaper. This is fine. I'm okay with him using these spells before he attacks on my attack phase. He's going to level up Lee Sin. No surprise level ups here, and I'm probably just going to, I might play a unit here. Let's see what he does. Some more burst spells and levels up Tark. Alright, let's play our Chump Wump, I think, and if we play the Chump Wump, we're going to get Mushroom Clouds. We can put some Mushroom Clouds into his deck and get a pretty good hit off with Teemo here. He so far hasn't had any removal spells in this sort of combination he's been running, so I'm not too worried about him being able to take out Teemo. Alright, so we're going to produce a Sapling as well, so we're going to be able to take out one of these Gift Givers, more than likely, unless he decides to like buff it up for some reason. But let's probably use the mushrooms here and then attack with Teemo and get as much into this deck as possible and try to whittle him down to a manageable state so that we can finish up the game. Alright, yeah, so he doesn't use anything to get rid of Teemo. We get quite a few mushrooms into his deck. He's probably around 50. And now we're just going to pass it back to him. We have a pretty full board, so we managed to protect ourselves pretty well. He does have this Eye of the Dragon, which is going to be kind of annoying, because he's going to get these Dragonlings that can lifesteal for him. We have a Withering Well to deal with that if we really need to. He draws 2 mushrooms, so that's pretty nice here. He's down to 8 health, so we've almost got him down to the point where we can win. We need to be worried about Lee Sin's removal here, and he's going to be dealing direct damage to the Nexus, and he's going to be getting buffed up by Tark as well. So we just need to be a little worried about that. We have some options here, lifesteal options. We've got the Grasp of the Undying, Withering Well, and Maokai's spell. I always forget what it's called. Sap Tree or something like that. Alright, yeah, so he's just buffing his Lee Sin as much as he can. Just as long as we block into these, we should be okay and not die here. So yeah, we need to block into the Tark. I'm going to kill off this Mentor of the Stones as well with Maokai. And we should be down to 3 health, so I'm okay with this. And we have some backup here. We've got 10 mana, so I can use both Withering Well and Grasp of the Undying if he's got any more spells here. Okay, so it doesn't look like he does. We're going to take quite a bit of damage. But we're also to the point where we're going to be able to level up Maokai. So I mean, it's kind of a draw at this point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to win. He took out quite a few of my units here. I don't want to use Veteran Investigator quite yet. I want to be able to use that at the point where I can get lethal mushroom draw on him. So we're going to use Chronicler of Ruin on Teemo. This is going to proc Tossing and 1 death. and get a sapling, and this is going to level up Maokai at the end of the round. So he shouldn't have a way to take out Maokai here, so I should be able to level him up here. Yeah, once again, I got pretty unlucky with my draws here. I could have used Fading Memories on things like my Thorny Toads or my Dead Bloom Wanderers, but didn't get it. It kind of sucks. Okay, yeah, so we get Maokai to level up here. This is nice. We've got the Veteran Investigators in hand and on our... in order to make him draw into the mushrooms here, we'll see. He's only got 7 Puff Caps left in his deck, so he'll probably draw a couple here, maybe one.
Breathe out. Armed and ready.
And we're just going to open attack with Teemo. Okay, puts 12 mushrooms into his deck. He's only got 3 cards left, and we've got Veteran Investigator, so we should be able to win now. Unless he's got some way to lifesteal, and I don't think he does. Alright, we get kind of lucky here because we've got a Glimpse Beyond, so let's hope he doesn't have a deny. Alright, we're close. Let's see if he's got a deny. If he's got a deny, we lose the game. Alright, no deny. We managed to avoid losing the game right there. Okay, that was really, really fortunate. Alright, we're going to force him to draw here with the Veteran Investigator. He draws 3. And I've got Chronicler of Ruin, and I've got Fading Memories, so I can reproduce this Investigator and get him to draw more, and so I should be able to win this round. Either that, or he'll run out of cards. Okay, and oh, we won. So he drew 6 more Puff Caps here, and we win the game. So we got pretty lucky there at the end. If we didn't have the Glimpse Beyond, we would have lost. Yeah, that was kind of a last-ditch effort on his part to win the game, so he might not even be including any denies in that deck. I didn't see any. Used Glimpse Beyond twice. Yeah, we got pretty lucky we won, but it was a pretty good gameplay.